Now on CoastTV News.
Tunnel Bridge tragedy update. What the investigation has revealed so far after a tractor-trailer crashed into the Chesapeake Bay.
Plus, county contract controversy. The action Maryland's governor is expected to make today on immigration enforcement that is at odds with local agencies.
Watch for some areas of fog to start our Tuesday, but a pleasant day awaits. We're going to see sunshine this afternoon, turning milder. We get it back into the 50s, and we're going to trend even milder in the days ahead, plus turning a little active as well.
Strategic Summit in Lewes. Why leaders from several organizations are making themselves available to the public tonight.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And it is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us during this 5 o'clock hour.
Grace, I feel the need to talk about your experience this morning with your windshield and some frost.
You know, I set out my heated when you turn your car on.
Yeah.
And I was ready, Matt. I really was. I was prepared, and then I go out to my car and there was sadly no.
It didn't make an impact.
There was no melting, and I was like, oh gosh, I was like, it's going to be the sunrise before the time that I actually
How
get
is
there.
Grace going to get to work? That is the question that we need to know.
I'll tell you what. Thank you to my lovely Aunt Tosh for sending me Starbucks gift cards, because that's what I used as my ice scraper to scrape off all the frost from my windshield, and I will admit it worked really well. It worked well. They're a little bent, they're a little used, but if you don't have an ice scraper, what are you supposed to do in this kind of dire situation when I need to, if I listen to Chris?
I got to give you props for being innovative on that. So,
Thank you.
And you got here on time.
Thank you.
All right, let's move over to Chris Mastrobono in the First Alert Weather Center. Chris, we did have the frost on the windshield this morning, at least in Grace's case, and as we expect a warm-up later today.
We do. Good morning, Matt and Grace. You're going to need to use those defrosters, or you could try Grace's method and use the gift card to scrape that frost off your car this morning. As we take a live look into Ocean City, 34 degrees there, so we are above the freezing mark. We are seeing areas of fog beginning to develop primarily across Cambridge, Dorchester, pretty much through the southern portion of the peninsula this morning. So definitely take your time out there. We're also seeing temperatures in some areas right at the freezing mark, so we could be dealing with some freezing fog and definitely some frost on your windshield this morning. So allow for some time to allow that car to warm up. We're at the freezing mark in Long Neck, 33 in Georgetown, we're at 34 Salisbury, and 34 in Bethany Beach. Winds are relatively calm across the area. That's why we're seeing some of that frost develop across the area, but we are seeing more of a south to southwesterly wind flow kick in, and that's all thanks to high pressure just to our south. Mostly cloudy skies for the northern part of the peninsula. Clouds are a little thinner towards the southwest. Now, we do have high pressure just to our south. That's going to continue pushing offshore, and in doing so, we're going to see more of that southwest wind develop through the day today, and that's going to help us get into the lower 50s by the afternoon. So we start off with the fog and clouds, but the afternoon much more promising as we welcome back sunny skies and milder temperatures. So again, use some caution this morning with the fog around and those temperatures hovering right around the freezing mark. We'll rebound back into the upper 40s to lower 50s across the peninsula this afternoon as that fog dissipates as the sun rises around just shy of 7 this morning. We will talk about 60-degree temperatures and then an active weather pattern developing late this week into the weekend. We'll dive more into that coming up in the full 7-day forecast.
Yeah, breaking news this morning. NBC News is confirming that civil rights leader Jesse Jackson has died at age 84. Jackson was born in Greenville, South Carolina, and rose to leadership during the civil rights era. His career includes 2 presidential candidacies, one in 1984, another in 1988. Jackson revealed a Parkinson's diagnosis in 2017 and was recently admitted to the hospital in November. Again, our breaking news this hour, civil rights icon Jesse Jackson dies at the age of 84. And for more information on his life and career, you can head to the article on CoastTV.com. Turning now to the city of Lewes, it will host its first ever State of the Community Forum tonight.
CoastTV News reporter Lisa Weber is live in Lewes. And Lisa, the meeting is in partnership with leaders from the University of Delaware, Beebe Healthcare, and the Cape Henlopen School District.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. City leaders say the goal of tonight's meeting is to build a strong and healthy community. Stakeholders will be a part of this meeting, and they will also be giving their joint strategic plans, priorities, and discuss how and why collaboration is key. Key speakers include Superintendent of the Cape Henlopen School District, Dr. Jenny Noman, President and CEO of Beebe Healthcare, Dr. David Tam, and University of Delaware President Dr. Laura Carlson. That meeting will feature a 30 to 40-minute Q&A session. Attendees are encouraged to submit questions online before the meeting. And that meeting will take place this evening from 5 to 7 o'clock at Lewes Elementary School. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. Happening today, a big update in the fight over short-term rentals in Ocean City. According to the agenda for today's Ocean City Council meeting, they're expected to present whether enough valid signatures were collected on a petition. The petition is seeking a referendum on a recently adopted ordinance related to short-term rentals. According to Ocean City, at least 990 signatures must receive verification for the petition to move forward to a referendum.
And the Ocean City Council is also looking at changing the hours that bicycles are allowed on the boardwalk. Currently, noon is when bicyclists must exit the boardwalk, but the Ocean City Police Commission notes that while congestion on the boardwalk increases later in the day, earlier afternoon hours are manageable. The commission is recommending extending the hours to 2 p.m. and according to the commission, this applies to the time period from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
We're going to stay in Ocean City. Got a second and final reading of an ordinance that would double parking violation fines during special events. It's also expected today from Ocean City Council. Officials say the fine would jump from $50 to $100, and this would include events such as Country Calling, Oceans Calling, 4th of July, and others throughout the year. We went to Ocean City to talk to people living there on how they feel about this, and here's what one man told us.
As long as signage is clear as to how much things cost and what you'll be fined if you don't pay it, then yeah, it's a good idea.
Ocean City Council meeting is tonight at 6.
And Ocean City Council has previously made other changes during special events in town. One change doubled the fine for illegally parking in front of a fire hydrant during a special event, increasing from $100 to $200. And parking rates in general also increased during special events, costing drivers an additional $1.50 compared to its standard parking rates.
New this morning, Maryland Governor Wes Moore is scheduled to sign 2 emergency bills involving immigration enforcement. Senate Bill 245 that prohibits state, local government, or a county sheriff from entering into an agreement with ICE and then any existing agreements before July 1st. House Bill 444 has essentially the same requirements. It was earlier this year that Wicomico County entered into an agreement to assist in executing immigration warrants inside county detention centers.
New this morning, a Salisbury home in need of major repair after an electrical fire. According to the Maryland State Fire Marshal, the fire began in the attic of a home on South Kaywood Drive around 2:15 Sunday afternoon. Officials say it took firefighters 45 minutes to put out the blaze, and structural damage is estimated to be at about $200,000.
Continuing our coverage on the tragedy on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, a Purdue truck driver is dead after his truck plummeted into the waters below. The truck has now been recovered, as well as the driver's body. Bay Bridge Tunnel police say the crash happened around 6:30 Sunday morning in Purdue, confirming the driver was 61-year-old Ronnie Andrews from North Carolina. Bay Bridge Tunnel police are saying the cause of this crash remains under investigation and that wind restrictions were not in effect at the time of the crash. Today, U.S. envoys engaging in double negotiations, both with far-reaching international implications. In Geneva, Switzerland, U.S. diplomats meeting with Iranian officials for a second round of nuclear negotiations.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us that at the same time, in a different section of Geneva, another team of U.S. negotiators will try to mediate a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
The Trump administration turning to foreign policy today with separate high-level negotiations in Geneva, Switzerland on Iran's nuclear program and Russia's war on Ukraine. President Trump saying he'll be indirectly involved in the Iran talks.
I don't think they want the consequences of not making a deal. They want to make a deal.
The president sending a second U.S. aircraft carrier to the region ahead of the talks, ramping up the pressure on Iran to curb its nuclear program, as Iranian officials signal some flexibility in exchange for sanctions relief. The U.S. military buildup in the region follows Iran's violent crackdown last month on sweeping protests. President Trump asked Friday about regime change in Iran.
Seems like that would be the best thing that could happen.
He's also referenced last year's U.S.-Israeli bombing campaign that badly damaged Iran's nuclear infrastructure, suggesting further military action is on the table without a deal. In retaliation for any attack, Iran has threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, choking off a critical global oil pathway. All as top Trump envoys tackle a separate challenge today, mediating negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. Whether Ukraine will have to give up territory remains a central sticking point, closing in on the 4-year mark of Russia's full-scale invasion. Ukraine's president urging allies to help force Russia to peace, as President Trump called on Ukraine to come to the table fast. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Lunar New Year kicking off celebrations today as the Year of the Horse begins. It's widely considered the most important event of the year in China and Chinese communities around the world. Celebrations vary depending on the country or religion, but there are a few common traditions. Some of them include a big dinner with family and deep cleaning the home to get rid of bad luck from the year past.
Starting Monday in Salisbury, Tidal Health Peninsula Regional will have temporary parking and traffic changes as it builds a new observation unit next to the Robert T. Atkins, MD, Emergency and Trauma Center. Part of West Vine Street gets limited to one lane or closed at times, and this is through early fall of 2026. The emergency department will remain open.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, why comical bird flu, how farmers are increasing safety protocols after a presumed positive case.
Also, tobacco tax changes, what Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is proposing in his fiscal year 2027 budget.
Still ahead, how one organization is empowering the blind and low vision individuals to live, learn, and work without limits. And First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono is in the Weather Center, and he's tracking a jump up in temperatures. We check in with Chris next.
Good Tuesday morning, Delmarva. I hope this morning is treating you well. As we take a look into Salisbury this morning, 35 degrees there. Winds are pretty light out of the southwest, about 7 miles an hour. We have seen fog develop over the last hour, primarily across Dorchester County, swinging through the southern half of the peninsula. So use some caution out there. Not all that dense, but we are seeing visibilities under 5 miles. Also, temperatures across most of Sussex County are at or just slightly below the freezing mark. So use some caution out there with some slick spots. High pressure to our south, and we're going to be dealing with the fog and clouds to start right around the freezing mark. So allow some extra time to warm your car up. But by the afternoon, we're looking very nice. We rebound pretty nicely back up into the lower to mid 50s. We trend even milder in the days ahead, but we do turn pretty active late week. Break down some rain chances and maybe even a little snow mixed in to that 7-day forecast.
We're now taking a live look at New Orleans. Mardi Gras celebrations continue as today marks Fat Tuesday. The festivities, which featured weeks of parades, are part of carnival season that actually began on January 12th.
I'm there, Matt. New this morning, the Delaware Grocery Initiative and First State Food System Program is reopening for 2026 with $700,000 in funding. Officials say the initiative stems from Senate Bill 254 and aims to eliminate food deserts by helping community groups open or expand access to fresh and affordable food. Farmers, community markets, food banks, and more can begin to submit applications on February 20th, and the Division of Small Businesses will host a webinar on February 18th at 12:30 p.m.
Across Delmarva, Atlantic General Hospital is celebrating 20 years of its auxiliary thrift shop. Organizers will recognize the milestone on February 20th with a special commemoration. Officials say the store opens at 10 a.m. and the anniversary event begins at 11 a.m.
Breaking boundaries and being blind. Hundreds of people came together in Ocean City to share personal stories and resources and connect, all with the goal of empowering those who are blind or have low vision. Coast TV reporter Kevin Zapay takes us there.
Blindness is not what holds you back.
That was the message in Ocean City as the National Federation of the Blind of Maryland hosted its event, bringing together guest speakers, vendors, and hundreds of attendees in support of people experiencing blindness and low vision. Ronza Othman, a volunteer with the Federation, says the nonprofit has helped her and many others gain independence.
I thought I was doing a great job and I was living in the world and living my best life until I met a whole bunch of blind and low vision people who had a lot more independent skills than I did.
Othman says the organization receives about $250,000 a year in donations. Money, she says, goes directly back into programs that support the blind community.
We offer something called the NFB Bell Academy, Braille Enrichment and Literacy and Learning, and those are essentially summer camps for blind and low vision kids so they can learn Braille and assistive technology and how to use their canes in their communities.
In addition to guest speakers, attendees had the chance to explore new technology designed to increase independence. Devices like the Dot Pad give people the ability to read content connected to their tablets, from reading Harry Potter,
a large tawny owl flutter past the window,
to be able to feel any type of drawing.
That is a triangle.
We're now able to interact with the information with our peers in real time.
Chris Danielson, a board member of the Federation in Maryland, says events like this show what's possible.
And people really need to understand that they can live with blindness and they can still be happy, they can still learn, they can still work, they can still be productive. So it means an awful lot to me personally to be able to give back what I was given and to talk to people and say, you know, your life is not over just because you lost the one sense of your eyesight. You're going to be okay.
With the Federation growing, leaders say everyone is welcome to join. According to Othman, this Federation has around 2,000 members in the state of Maryland and says anyone looking to join should reach out. I'm Kevin Zapay in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Time is 5:21, and we are giving you a live look at the early morning scene in Salisbury. Chris, we got a foggy start in some places this morning, but I am choosing to focus on 50 degree temperatures. Bring it on, Chris.
Oh yeah, you're going to take the mild weather anywhere you can get it, and we're going to have some mild days ahead. Not exactly bright and sunny weather over the next few days, but yeah, we'll take those mild temperatures any way we can get it. As we take a live look into Ocean City, you can see the low cloud deck there in the distance. We are seeing some fog across the area. 34 in Ocean City. You can see visibility down to 1.5 miles there in Cambridge. So definitely use some caution out there this morning when you're navigating those back roads, those less lighted roadways. Also seeing some temperatures just at the freezing mark across Sussex County, 32 in Long Neck, 33 in Milton. So allow for some extra time to warm that car up, dealing with a layer of frost on the windshield this morning. Winds are relatively calm, but you can see the wind direction is now out of the southwest. That's going to help things turn warmer this afternoon. Now, we do have a small craft advisory up for the Delaware coast as well as the Maryland and Virginia coasts. Those run through this evening. Now, we are seeing partly to mostly cloudy skies across the peninsula this morning. High pressure just off to our south, so we're going to stay relatively quiet as this high pressure system sides offshore. That's going to introduce that south to southwest wind through the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies, a nice afternoon. In fact, most areas away from the coast will likely get into the lower 50s, 54 Georgetown, 54 Princess Anne, 44 Nanticoke, a little cooler by the water, 48 in Ocean City. So we're going to remain mostly cloudy, though. Clouds will arrive back in overnight, so not as cold to start our Wednesday. We stay above the freezing mark. That's going to set the stage for a mild day on Wednesday, but a cloudy one at that. And we could see a late shower as that warm front pushes through the area Wednesday, and we stay rather mild. Now, look at the southwest winds continuing today, gusting to 20 at times. We stay pretty breezy into Wednesday, but we continue that southwest flow. Then things get a little interesting. Little pesky backdoor cold front's going to be pushing through the area. Now, it's questions about how far south does this front get. If you're on the northern side of this front, you're going to stay in the 40s and 50s Thursday and Friday. If you're on the southern side of this front, you're going to warm up pretty nicely in the 50s and 60s. So this is going to wreak havoc with the forecast, but either way, we're going to stay around average or slightly above average throughout that time span. Better chance of widespread rain comes in Friday through Friday evening. Could see an early morning shower Saturday. Then we could potentially dealing with a more significant storm system as we go into Sunday and Monday. Models are all over the place with that storm system. We deal with the rain Friday, then watching for that system Sunday into Monday. That could potentially end as some snow, but we do turn colder as we go into early next week. Matt does not want to see those 30s into early next week.
You're right. Thanks, Chris. Tobacco prices in Delaware could see a spike under Governor Matt Meyer's proposed fiscal year 2027 budget. That cigarette tax would jump from $210 to $360 per pack. Now, the increase is part of a plan to help close a more than $500 million budget gap and generate about $160 million in new state revenue. Supporters say it could help discourage smoking and address an unhealthy habit. But small businesses across Kent County are warning that higher prices could hurt customers and impact sales.
Tobacco is already pretty taxed to death. Like, we're running off of probably like a 6 or 7% margin on tobacco. They just really keep hammering down on tobacco.
Joint Finance Committee hearings are underway. Lawmakers must approve a final budget by July 1st.
And up next on CoastTV News today, Wacomico bird flu. What farmers say they're doing to prevent any further spread. CoastTV News today. We'll be right back. Maryland officials say a likely positive case of bird flu was found in a commercial broiler farm in Wacomico County, and it's the first case in the county this year. According to Maryland's Department of Agriculture, the impacted farm is quarantining and the birds are being euthanized to prevent the spread. Bird flu is highly contagious and can spread from bird to bird. And the Delmarva Chicken Association says that there are many ways that local growers can protect their flock.
Installing, decoys to scare birds away from settling on their stormwater ponds or on their farm fields. They're changing their own shoes whenever they go from one chicken house to another. They're making sure that visitors who are servicing the farm with, propane or for repairs are doing the same thing.
According to the Delmarva Chicken Association, there are many safeguards to ensure that infected birds do not make it into the food supply.
Hope this Tuesday morning is treating you well. Taking a live look into Ocean City. We have some fog out there this morning, so use some caution. We're at the 34-degree mark in Ocean City. So we begin the day with some fog and clouds, but expecting sunshine by the afternoon. We get up into the upper 40s through Fenwick Island and Ocean City. Lewes, partly cloudy skies through the afternoon. We'll see a southwest wind kicking in, generally about 5 to 15 miles an hour. A little milder along the mid-shore. Cambridge, 45 by around 4 o'clock. So generally upper 40s to lower 50s across the Delmarva Peninsula after this foggy start. Congratulations, Wanda Tyler of Berlin, Maryland, on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. We'll have more on 50s and 60s in that 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. After the break on CoastTV News today, Guthrie investigation intensifies. What new information police are gathering that could lead to a possible suspect.
Also, Maryland ICE decision, details of the emergency bills Maryland Governor Wes Moore is expected to sign into law.
Plus, petition for possible referendum. The major changes Ocean City officials are set to consider today. CoastTV News continues after the break.
Now on CoastTV News.
Maryland migration mandate. The emergency bills Governor Wes Moore is scheduled to sign this morning that are creating controversy with Wacomico County law enforcement.
Strategic Summit in Lewes, why leaders from several organizations are making themselves available to the public tonight.
Watch for some areas of fog to start our Tuesday, but a pleasant day awaits. We're going to see sunshine this afternoon, turning milder. We get it back into the 50s, and we're going to trend even milder into the days ahead, plus turning a little active as well.
And festival fines. Ocean City moves closer to upping the cost of parking violations during popular events.
This is CoastTV News Today.
February 17th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us today.
5:32 a.m. and we had this in our last half hour. Today, we have Fat Tuesday and we have Chinese New Year.
What a treat. Do you remember what I told you not to do on today, Chinese New Year?
And I did it.
You did it?
I did.
You did? You listened to me?
No, I did it.
Huge. You can tell I did yesterday.
No,
you did?
So go ahead, explain it.
So my family celebrates Lunar New Year, and it's a thing that you're not supposed to wash your hair
And I did it.
today because it's going to wash out all the good luck that you're going to have for the coming year. Oh, Matt, this is going to go horribly for you.
This could explain a lot of things in my life.
I'm crossing my fingers. I'm crossing my fingers. Oh, gosh, Matt. Well, you know what? I also told Chris about this, so let's get a check on Chris's hair. Chris, how are you holding up over here? Are you going to be lucky this year? Let's see.
Oh, gosh.
Let's see.
So wait, I washed my hair last night before midnight. Does that count? I don't know. So I'm safe. I'm safe. Grace says I'm safe. So I need some luck here this year as we take a live look into Salisbury. 35 degrees, and we have a fog that's been developing. Not all that dense. We're down to 1.5 miles in through Cambridge, so most of Dorchester County along the southern periphery of the peninsula. We're down to 2.5 miles in Georgetown. So take it easy out there. Temperatures are kind of flirting with the freezing mark, especially in and across Sussex County. So waking up to some frost on the windshield, so allow for some extra time to warm the car up. Winds are relatively calm across the area this morning under those mostly cloudy skies. Now we are going to see sunshine by the afternoon. High pressure building in across the mid-Atlantic. It's going to eventually shift offshore, and that's going to introduce more of a southwest wind through the afternoon. So that's going to help us get into the lower 50s, I think, through the afternoon under partly cloudy skies. We'll talk about even milder days ahead, and then we turn a bit active by the end of the week. We're talking about rain chances rolling back in. I'll break that down in my full 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. We have breaking news this morning. NBC has just confirmed that civil rights leader Jesse Jackson has died at 84. Jackson was born in Greenville, South Carolina, and rose to leadership during the civil rights era. His career includes 2 presidential candidacies in 1984 and 1 in 1988. Jackson revealed a Parkinson's diagnosis in 2017 and was recently admitted to the hospital in November. New this morning, the city of Lewes will host its first ever State of the Community Forum tonight.
And our Lisa Weber is live in Lewes. This meeting is a partnership with leaders from the University of Delaware, Beebe Healthcare, and the Cape Henlopen School District. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. City leaders say the goal of tonight's meeting is to build a strong and healthy community. Stakeholders will present their 2026 priorities, as well as joint strategic goals, and discuss how and why collaboration is key. Speakers include Superintendent of the Cape Henlopen School District, Dr. Jenny Noman, President and CEO of Beebe Healthcare, Dr. David Tam, and University of Delaware President, Dr. Laura Carlson. The meeting will feature a 30 to 40-minute Q&A session. Attendees are encouraged to submit questions online before the meeting. And that meeting will take place this evening from 5 to 7 o'clock at Lewes Elementary School. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. Happening today, a major update in the fight for short-term rentals in Ocean City. According to the agenda for today's town council meeting, officials are expected to present whether enough valid signatures were collected on a petition. And that petition is seeking a referendum on a recently adopted ordinance related to short-term rentals. According to Ocean City, at least 990 signatures must receive verification for the petition to move forward to a referendum.
Second and final reading of an ordinance that would double parking violation fines during special events is also expected today from Ocean City Council. They say the fine would jump from $50 to $100 and would include events such as Country Calling, Oceans Calling, Independence Day, and others throughout the year.
And bicyclists in Ocean City could soon have a little more time on the boardwalk from Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day. Town Council is expected to consider a proposal at that same council meeting. Earlier this month, the Police Commission voted to recommend extending summer boardwalk bike hours from midnight to 2 p.m. instead of until noon. Officials are saying that the idea is to add flexibility now that the boardwalk trams are gone.
I think it's the best alternative. I think it's an alternative that shouldn't have to be an alternative. Do you understand? I think that the tram was a terrible idea from the beginning.
And the Ocean City Town Council will gather tonight at 6 p.m.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore is scheduled to sign 2 emergency bills involving immigration enforcement. There's Senate Bill 245 that prohibits state, local government, or a county sheriff from entering into an agreement with ICE, and then any existing agreements before July 1st. House Bill 444 has essentially the same requirements. It was earlier this year that Wycomico County entered into an agreement to assist in executing immigration warrants inside county detention centers.
New this morning, a Salisbury home is in need of a major repair after an electrical fire. According to the Maryland State Fire Marshal, the fire began in the attic of a home on South Kaywood Drive around 2:15 Sunday afternoon. Officials say it took firefighters 45 minutes to put out the blaze, and structural damage is estimated to be at about $200,000.
New overnight, the Pima County Sheriff's Department says the Guthrie family has been cleared as possible suspects in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Detectives are focusing on the person seen on Nancy's doorbell camera video. We're showing it to you right here. That was the night she disappeared. Specifically, what he was wearing. His backpack is sold exclusively at Walmart. The Sheriff's Department confirms his clothes could have also been purchased at Walmart.
That is something that gives them something to put their teeth into and just keep digging until they find that one lead that leads them to that suspect.
Another possible lead in the case, DNA found inside Nancy's home. Police say doesn't belong to Nancy or anyone close to her. It's unclear if investigators have since learned who it belongs to.
Today, U.S. envoys engaging in double negotiations, both with far-reaching international implications. In Geneva, Switzerland, U.S. diplomats meeting with Iranian officials for a second round of nuclear negotiations. The president sending a second U.S. aircraft carrier to the region ahead of the talks, ramping up the pressure on Iran to curb its nuclear program. All this at the top of Trump's envoys tackling a separate challenge today, mediation negotiations between Russia and Ukraine.
We have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, push towards higher prices. What the Wall Street Journal says is causing stores to make a change.
And Phillies off-field drama. They are gearing up for spring training. Why Bryce Harper is upset at upper management.
Tuesday morning is off to a fantastic start. Delmarva taking a live look in through Dover. Fog not all that dense there. We're at 36 degrees. You can see winds are pretty light out of the south at about 7, but pretty a little denser across portions of Dorchester County. We're down to a mile and a quarter there in Cambridge. So visibility generally about a mile to anywhere up to 4 miles across the peninsula this morning. Temperatures are hovering in the lower to mid 30s. So some frosty conditions out there to start. High pressure just off to our south, expecting sunshine by the afternoon after the cloudy, foggy start. We get up into the lower 50s this afternoon for most locations. Think upper 40s by the water, and then we fall into the lower 40s this evening. You get your latest forecast by calling the First Alert Weather phone. Your 7-day forecast just minutes away.
Thank you, Chris. And the executive chairman of Hyatt Hotels, billionaire Tom Pritzker, announcing his retirement. It follows the most recent release of files by the government that reveals his association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He has served as an executive chairman of the hotel chain since 2004.
Wall Street Journal reports a number of companies are raising prices once again. That's after a trend of holding them steady for holiday shopping. Many retailers cite pressure from tariffs. Some small businesses say they're also grappling with wages and high health care costs.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa studio.
In the majors, tempers are flaring in Philly. Days after cutting Nick Castellanos over dugout drama, former teammate Bryce Harper turned the heat up a notch. The 33-year-old isn't upset with manager Rob Thompson, though. Instead, he's disappointed with President Dave Dombrowski for saying he's no longer elite.
I don't get motivated by that kind of stuff. You know, for me, it was kind of wild, the whole situation of that happening. I think the big thing for me was, you know, when we first met with this organization, it was, hey, you know, we're always going to keep things in-house, and we expect you to do the same thing. And so, you know, when that didn't happen, kind of took me for a run a little bit.
Let's shift gears to Delaware, where we preview our coverage of the Blue and Gold All-Star Game.
Which players made the Blue Gold basketball teams? Players, coaches, and fans. Be the first to find out. The official rosters drop live this Wednesday at 2:30 on the Delmarva Sports Network. We'll reveal every selection and spotlight the stars representing their schools in this year's game. Watch it live on DSN or stream it on the DSN app with DSN Plus. The Blue Gold Selection Show, only on the Delmarva Sports Network.
Can't wait to bring you that coverage, 2:30 on Wednesday. Have a good one, Delmarva.
And coming up tonight on DSN 5:30 live, Bayside Conference boys basketball when Y-High takes on Parkside. You can also catch the final score at 10:30 p.m. You can watch that city basketball game on DSN Plus along with these exclusives. At 5:30, Cambridge South Dorchester faces Kent Island in boys basketball. And at 6 p.m., Cape visits Polytech in girls basketball.
And today in your entertainment news, an Oscar nominee on the small screen and a baseball star on the big screen. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minutes.
In the forest, every least thing's important. It's all threaded together, so you can't tell where one thing ends and another begins.
Train Dreams has won Best Feature of the Year at the Indie Spirit Awards, as well as Best Director for Clint Bentley and Best Cinematography for Adolfo Veloso. Both men, who are also Oscar nominees, say they knew the film was special while they were making it.
I connected with so many aspects in the movie, and I was really connected to certain things that made the project be very personal to me in a way.
A lot of crew brought a lot of themselves to it, and even brought heirlooms from their grandmother that they wanted to put in the film, things like that.
Japan has taken baseball from the U.S. and recreated it in its own image. Baseball gave Japan an outlet to succeed on the world stage.
Homecoming, the Tokyo series, looks at last year's Dodgers-Cubs historic season opener in Japan as a lens into the country's passion for the American pastime. The documentary screens in U.S. theaters next Monday and Tuesday. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign up to get weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
And take your time navigating out there this morning. We have a little fog to deal with this morning. Temperatures are hovering right around the freezing mark, so a little frost out there as well. But a beautiful afternoon awaits, and we turn even milder in the days ahead, but it comes with some rain. We'll break it down. Full 70 forecast is up next.
And the time is now 5:49 a.m. as we're taking a live look out into Dover. Chris, I woke up to frost on my car. What was that about? I thought we were supposed to have these nice, warm, balmy temperatures.
Well, we have the temperatures dipping into the 30s this morning, so some of us waking up to some frost, having to allow that car a little extra time to warm up. Also dealing with some fog this morning as well. Taking a look into Salisbury, 35 degrees, and you can see that fog beginning to get a little bit more dense there across portions of Dorchester County, down to about 1.25 mile visibility, 2.5 mile visibility there in Georgetown. So take your time out there navigating the roads across Delmarva this morning. We're at 32 in Redden, 34 Bethany Beach, 35 in Gumboro. Winds are relatively calm, but you can see that influx of the southwest winds. That's that warmer air beginning to filter into the peninsula. One of the reasons we have a little fog this morning. Small craft advisories continue for the Atlantic coast through about 6 o'clock this evening. So we have partly to mostly cloudy skies across the peninsula. We're going to begin the day with the fog and some clouds, but we are going to rebound pretty nicely this afternoon as high pressure continues to build into the area. So some afternoon sunshine after a rather gloomy start to the week, and we're going to turn even milder into the day tomorrow, but not exactly bright blue skies. We're going to keep the clouds around for most of the day for our Wednesday. Partly cloudy skies through the afternoon, lower 50s through the day today, so not all that bad. Winds out of the south, anywhere between about 10 to 20 miles an hour. A mostly cloudy night, so not as cold. That's going to keep temperatures pretty mild to start, and then we could see a late shower as we go into Wednesday evening, but we stay on the mild side. Notice the southwest wind flow continuing today and even into the day tomorrow. A bit more on the breezy side as we go into Wednesday with some gusts near 30 miles an hour. Then a pesky backdoor cold front is going to be kind of parked over the area. Where it positions is going to be the question, because north of this front, you're going to stay rather cool in the 40s and 50s. Either way, we're going to have seasonable to slightly above average temperatures across the peninsula. I think the best chance to see 60s are going to be across portions of the eastern shore, southern mid-shore as we go into Thursday and Friday. We also turn unsettled. This is going to be the first of a few systems that are going to be impacting the area, the first of which comes through Friday, giving us a period of rain Friday afternoon through Friday evening. Could see a few showers linger into Saturday morning, and then we could potentially see a more significant storm system as we go into Sunday into Monday. This particular model keeping the system to our south and east, but some of the models bringing some heavier moisture into the area in the form of rain, potentially going over to snow. That will be the second half of the weekend. You can see that rain. Also, you'll note a big drop in temperature. We go from 56 Friday down to 37 for a high on Monday.
Thank you, Chris. And you are now looking live at downtown Cortina, Italy. We only have a couple of days remaining at the 25th Olympic Winter Games, and they are approaching the noon hour there. Now let's take a look at the medal count. The U.S. has 6 gold medals, 8 silver, 5 bronze. That brings their total to 19. Norway is leading. They have 12 gold, 7 silver, 9 bronze. That's 28 overall. And Italy is in second with 8 gold, 4 silver, 11 bronze, with their total of 23.
Well, it is day 14 of the competition with the Olympic Winter Games, and our coverage continues all the way to the closing ceremonies. Those are on February 22nd, right here on CoastTV.
Got a programming note for you. Due to the Winter Olympics through the 20th, you can watch Jeopardy on our sister station, Fox 21, at its regular time of 7:30 p.m. It's the same show, same time. It's just on a different channel while the games are on.
The time is now 5:53 a.m. and it is time to check in with our coastal bet of the day.
You're waiting to see this picture. This is the first time we're seeing it. We have a 7-year-old Great Pyrenees right now on your screen. That is Harper. Harper is very sweet.
Goodness.
You also hear that Harper is a bit goofy and keeps everyone laughing, and just a pure sweetheart. Harper was submitted to us by her family in Frankfurt.
Matt and I were talking about how cool this breed is. How cool and how large. They're like polar bears just roaming around your home.
Look at that white fur there.
We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos. Tell us what makes them so special to you. If you take a look at your screen now.
Yeah, scan that QR code at the top to get your friends to Coast TV News. Then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. And we're bringing back First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Chris, hitting that 50-degree mark today.
Yes, we are. After somewhat of a cold start out there, we're seeing some frost and fog to start, but by the afternoon, we get up into the upper 40s to lower 40s across most of the peninsula under partly cloudy skies. Will top out around 54 degrees, 60 for our Ash Wednesday, but a bit more in the way of cloud cover. We'll see a late isolated shower. Better chance of rain will come on Friday. 56. We could see a shower linger into Saturday, and then potentially a more significant storm system we're going to keep a close eye on Sunday into Monday, which could rain, ending as a little snow, but we do turn much colder into early next week.
Thanks, Chris. And coming up on our next hour, enforcement intervention. The move Maryland's governor is expected to make this morning that faces opposition in Wicomico County. That and more when we return with Coast TV News Today.